Have you ever wondered what lies beyond the veil of this life? What if you were given a glimpse into the afterlife and were tasked with sharing a powerful message about love, forgiveness, and the future of humanity? This is the extraordinary journey of Morgan, an ordinary man whose life takes a dramatic turn after a tragic accident plunges him into a near-death experience. As he crosses over to the other side, he encounters profound truths that challenge everything he thought he knew about existence. Join us as we unravel Morgan's incredible story, a tale that bridges the gap between life and death, offering a compelling invitation to reflect on our choices and their impact on the world around us. Are you ready to discover the life-changing message he brings back with him? If you found Morgan's story compelling, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Join our community as we explore more inspiring tales of hope, redemption, and the mysteries of the afterlife. Like this video if you believe in the power of love and forgiveness to transform our lives, and share it with your friends and family to spread this important message far and wide. Remember, your support helps us bring more powerful stories like Morgan's to light. Together, we can make a difference and inspire others to choose love over fear. Comment below with your thoughts on Morgan's journey. What did you find most impactful? We love hearing from you. Morgan Rivers was a 40-year-old man living in a small, tight-knit community where everyone knew each other's names. To the outside world, he seemed to have a perfect life, a fulfilling job that he enjoyed, a loving wife named Sarah, and two bright and energetic kids, Emma and Jack. Their home was filled with laughter and love, creating a warm atmosphere that welcomed friends and family alike. But beneath this cheerful exterior, Morgan struggled with deep doubts about his faith. As a practicing Christian, he went to church every Sunday, but he often found himself questioning the very beliefs that had been instilled in him since childhood. The comforting promises of an afterlife and a greater purpose felt distant, almost like shadows dancing just out of reach, leaving him feeling isolated and restless. Despite his internal battles, Morgan put on a brave face. He took pride in organizing church events, leading youth groups, and volunteering in the community. Yet, in the quiet moments of solitude, when the world around him fell silent, the questions would come creeping in. What lay beyond this life? Did his good deeds truly matter in the grand design of existence? These thoughts haunted him, especially as he lay awake at night, staring at the ceiling, searching for answers that seemed elusive. Everything changed dramatically when Morgan began to experience strange symptoms. At first, he dismissed them as signs of stress. After all, life had become increasingly busy with work deadlines and family commitments. But as days turned into weeks, the symptoms grew more alarming. Intense chest pains, overwhelming fatigue, and a tingling numbness that crept into his limbs. Concerned for his health, he visited his doctor, who ordered a series of tests. However, every test came back with no clear results, leaving Morgan feeling frustrated and anxious. As the weeks passed, his condition took a turn for the worse. Morgan's once vibrant life began to shrink. He found it difficult to keep up with his kids, often missing their soccer games and school events. For the first time in his life, he skipped church services, feeling both guilty and ashamed. Each visit to the doctor ended with the same disappointing news. They were baffled, and he had no diagnosis. They prescribed various medications, yet nothing seemed to relieve his suffering. One fateful evening, as the family gathered around the dinner table, everything changed. Morgan suddenly collapsed, sending a wave of panic through the room. Sarah's screams echoed as she called for help, and Emma and Jack stood frozen in fear, their innocent faces reflecting the chaos unfolding around them. They rushed him to the hospital, where a heavy atmosphere replaced confusion with dread. The doctors, looking grave and concerned, gathered the family and delivered the crushing news: prepare for the worst. As they stood vigil by his bedside, fear and helplessness washed over them. Morgan lay in a deep coma, unaware of the extraordinary journey he was about to embark on, one that would lead him to the very gates of heaven. There, he would meet Jesus and receive a vital message that could change everything for him and the world. This experience would not only challenge his understanding of life and death, but also reveal truths about the human experience that he never thought possible. As Morgan slipped deeper into unconsciousness, he found himself in a vast open field bathed in an enchanting otherworldly light. This wasn't just any light. It was warm and inviting, wrapping around him like a soft blanket. A profound sense of peace washed over him, washing away the pain and discomfort that had plagued his earthly existence. In this tranquil space, he felt liberated, as if he had shed the heavy burdens of life and was finally free to breathe. Before him stood an extraordinary staircase, stretching majestically into the heavens. Its steps shimmered with a celestial glow, inviting him to embark on a journey beyond his wildest dreams. Captivated by its beauty, Morgan felt an irresistible pull toward it. Taking a deep breath, he stepped forward. As his foot touched the first step, an overwhelming warmth enveloped him, filling his heart with love and acceptance. With each step he took, he ascended higher into this magnificent realm, feeling lighter with every stride. It was as if he was floating, liberated from the constraints of gravity. As he climbed, he noticed others accompanying him. Some were familiar faces, like childhood friends and loved ones he had lost, while others were strangers from far-off places. Each soul radiated a sense of calm, their expressions illuminated by the same heavenly light that surrounded Morgan. He felt an unexplainable connection to them, a bond that transcended the earthly ties he had known. No one appeared burdened by the worries or heartaches that often accompany life on Earth. Instead, their faces shone with serenity, free from pain and conflict. He marveled at the sight of a young woman beside him, her eyes sparkling with joy, and an elderly man who met his gaze with a gentle nod of understanding. They moved with a grace that felt both new and strangely familiar, as if they were participating in a grand dance orchestrated by a divine presence. As Morgan continued his ascent, he felt a growing sense of purpose, a soft whisper in his heart, urging him to seek deeper understanding and enlightenment. The world he had left behind began to fade from his mind, replaced by a profound awareness of love and unity. He couldn't help but wonder about the extraordinary experiences that lay ahead. What truths would he uncover? What wisdom would he gain about the afterlife and his place in the vast universe? The climb felt both endless and fleeting, a journey where time seemed to lose its meaning. With every step, the light around him intensified, enveloping him in its radiant embrace. Morgan sensed he was on the brink of something extraordinary, a passage into the unknown that promised to reveal not only the essence of existence, but also the deep connections that unite all souls. As Morgan reached the top of the magnificent staircase, he stepped through a shimmering gate that sparkled like 1,000 stars. On the other side lay a breathtaking realm that felt both familiar and entirely otherworldly. A radiant city unfolded before him, alive with vibrant colors that danced in the air, more vivid than any hue he had ever seen on Earth. The sweet fragrance of blooming flowers enveloped him, and a gentle warmth embraced him, making him feel instantly at home. In the heart of this celestial city, Morgan spotted a peaceful garden, lush and inviting. There, seated upon a majestic throne, was Jesus. His presence radiated love and understanding, and as their eyes met, Morgan felt an overwhelming sense of peace wash over him. Jesus smiled warmly and gestured for him to join him by his side. Without hesitation, Morgan approached, his heart pounding with both reverence and joy. "Welcome, Morgan," Jesus said, his voice soothing and full of compassion. "I've been waiting for you." Morgan took a seat beside him, awestruck by the beauty surrounding them. The garden was alive with flowers that seemed to shimmer and sway in the soft breeze, and the sound of distant laughter and music filled the air. He felt a deep connection to this place, as if he had always belonged there. In that serene moment, Jesus reached for a scroll resting beside him, a record of Morgan's life. As he unfurled it, the scroll appeared to glow with a divine light. "This is a record of your actions, thoughts, and feelings during your time on Earth," Jesus explained. "Every moment you have lived is captured here." With a gentle wave of his hand, the scroll began to play back Morgan's life. He watched in amazement as scenes unfolded before him, his childhood, his triumphs, his failures, and the moments of doubt that had haunted him. The joy of his wedding day, the laughter of his children, the pain of loss, and the shadows of uncertainty swirled around him like a vivid tapestry. He felt every emotion anew, both the joy and the sorrow, as if he were reliving each moment. "Do you see?" Jesus asked, his gaze steady and understanding. "Every choice you made, every thought you had, has shaped who you are and the world around you." Morgan nodded, feeling the weight of his past. He saw not only his struggles with faith, but also the love and compassion he had extended to others. Yet, he also recognized the moments when he had fallen short, when doubt clouded his heart. "Your time on Earth is not over," Jesus said gently, bringing Morgan back to the present moment. "You must return, for there is an urgent message that needs to be shared." With anticipation, Morgan leaned closer, eager to understand the significance of this mission. Jesus continued, "The future of humanity is at a critical juncture. Many are walking down the wrong path, blinded by their choices and ignorance. I want to share 3 key insights with you, insights that can change the course of humanity." Morgan listened intently as Jesus outlined the first insight. The future of the earth rests on a great moral and spiritual reckoning. Many are unaware of the consequences of their actions, and it is imperative that they awaken to the truth of their choices. The second insight followed, echoing with urgency. You must understand the interconnectedness of all souls. People often see themselves as separate from one another, but in reality, every soul is deeply intertwined. What one person does ripples through the fabric of existence, affecting countless others. Finally, Jesus emphasized the most profound truth of all. The importance of love and forgiveness cannot be overstated. The future can be changed if humanity chooses these paths. Without love and forgiveness, the world will continue to spiral into conflict and suffering. It is the essence of what connects us all. As these words settled in Morgan's heart, he felt a fire ignite within him. He understood the weight of the mission before him, the responsibility to carry these messages back to Earth, to awaken those still in darkness. As Morgan absorbed the profound insights Jesus had shared, the atmosphere around them began to shift. The vibrant colors of the heavenly garden morphed into something darker, pulling him into a new reality. In an instant, Morgan found himself surrounded by the haunting visions of Earth's future, one that unfolded with startling clarity if humanity chose to ignore the urgent warnings. Scenes of despair emerged before him, vivid and disturbing. He saw landscapes once thriving with life now rendered desolate and barren. Rivers that had once flowed with clear water were now choked with pollution, their surfaces slick and dark. The air was thick with smoke, carrying the anguished cries of those caught in the turmoil. Morgan witnessed people in fierce battles over dwindling resources, their faces twisted in fear and anger. The pain and suffering were overwhelming, an unbearable weight that pressed on his heart. But then, like a flicker of hope, the scenes transformed. With a gentle wave, Morgan was transported to a different future, one that shimmered with promise and unity. Here, communities came together, their differences melting away as they embraced a shared vision of peace. He marveled at the sight of vibrant gardens flourishing, wildlife roaming freely, and children laughing joyfully in the streets. The atmosphere was alive with love and connection, a beautiful tapestry woven from compassion and understanding. Tears filled Morgan's eyes as he experienced the stark contrast between these two futures. The images of hope ignited a fire within him, filling him with a sense of purpose that he had never known before. Turning back to Jesus, Morgan's heart raced. "How can this change happen?" he asked, urgency lacing his words. "How can people move from a path of destruction to one of unity and love?" Jesus met his gaze, his expression calm yet resolute. "That is where your mission comes in," he replied, his voice a soothing balm amidst the chaos. "You must return to Earth and share this vision with others. Help them see that their choices today will shape the world of tomorrow. It is not too late for humanity to change its course, but time is running short." Morgan nodded, the weight of his newfound responsibility settling into his heart. This was not just a personal journey, but a calling to awaken others from their slumber of indifference. He felt the urgency of the moment, understanding that by sharing what he had seen, he could inspire others to choose love over hate, unity over division. With a deep breath, Morgan prepared to embrace this profound calling, ready to be a beacon of hope in a world shrouded in darkness. He understood that the future was not fixed. It was a living tapestry, shaped by the collective actions and choices of every individual. As he took a moment to reflect, he realized that every soul mattered. Each act of kindness, no matter how small, could ripple outwards, creating waves of positive change. The journey ahead would be challenging, but Morgan felt ready to rise to the occasion, fueled by the love and wisdom that had been bestowed upon him in this sacred moment. As Morgan stood in the radiant presence of Jesus, he felt a deep tugging at his heart. The beauty of heaven wrapped around him like a warm embrace, making it hard to imagine leaving this tranquil place behind. "Is it really time for me to go?" he asked softly, his voice laced with a blend of longing and sorrow. The vibrant colors of the heavenly garden seemed to shift in harmony with his emotions. Jesus smiled gently, his eyes filled with understanding. "Your mission on earth is not yet complete. You have important work to do," he replied, his voice a soothing balm to Morgan's troubled heart. But before you return, I can grant you one last favor. Hope ignited in Morgan's chest. I want to see my loved ones, he said, feeling both joy and sadness wash over him. I need to say goodbye. With a nod, Jesus led Morgan to a serene part of heaven, where the air was filled with laughter and love. There, amidst the soft glow of divine light, he saw familiar faces, family members who had passed away, their spirits radiant and full of warmth. The sight brought tears of joy to his eyes. "Morgan," they called, their voices wrapping around him like a comforting blanket. He rushed to them, feeling their love envelop him in waves. They embraced tightly, sharing moments filled with laughter and cherished memories. In that sacred space, he felt a sense of closure, knowing they were at peace. After spending precious moments together, Morgan felt a gentle nudge from Jesus. "It's time," Jesus reminded him softly. With a heavy heart, he bid farewell to his loved ones, their smiles etched in his memory as he turned to begin his descent. As he stepped onto the heavenly staircase, Morgan felt a surge of new strength and purpose coursing through him. Each step down felt lighter than the last, invigorating him for the journey ahead. The warm light of heaven dimmed behind him, but its warmth remained within his heart. Midway down the staircase, he encountered another soul, a newly departed spirit looking confused and lost. Their eyes met, and in that brief moment, Morgan felt a connection. "Welcome," he said kindly, offering comfort with his presence. "It's okay. You're safe here." The newly departed soul blinked in surprise, their fear slowly melting away. "What happens now?" they asked, uncertainty clouding their expression. "Your journey is just beginning," Morgan reassured them. "You'll find peace and love here. Just trust the process." The soul smiled softly, gratitude shining in their eyes. As they exchanged a few more words, Morgan felt a deep sense of fulfillment wash over him. This connection was a poignant reminder of the impact one soul could have on another, even in fleeting moments. After sharing a brief embrace of understanding, they parted ways, Morgan continuing his descent with renewed clarity and purpose. He understood now that his mission on Earth was not just about sharing the visions he had received, but also about connecting with others, offering comfort, and spreading the message of love and hope. Each soul mattered, and he was determined to be a beacon of light in a world that desperately needed it. With every step, he felt a growing sense of urgency and responsibility, ready to face the challenges ahead. As he descended further, the radiant light of heaven began to fade, replaced by the familiar surroundings of his earthly life. But Morgan was not the same man who had entered this divine realm. He was transformed, armed with insights, and a mission that would change his life and the lives of others forever. As the soft beeping of machines filled the hospital room, Morgan found himself floating in a strange limbo between life and death. Suddenly, a bright light pierced through the fog that enveloped him, jolting him awake. Disoriented, he blinked against the harsh brightness, heart racing as he realized he was back in the world he had momentarily left behind. The sterile scent of antiseptic flooded his senses, grounding him in this reality that felt both unfamiliar and oddly familiar at the same time. Lying in a hospital bed, Morgan felt weak and heavy, as if the ethereal experiences he had just undergone still clung to him like a gentle whisper. He turned his head slowly, and what he saw brought a rush of emotions crashing over him. His family was gathered around, their faces a mixture of grief, relief, and hope. Tears streamed down his mother's cheeks as she clutched his father's hand tightly. His siblings stood close by, their eyes wide with a blend of fear and disbelief. The contrast of the sterile surroundings with the warmth of his family enveloped him like a protective cocoon. "I'm alive," he managed to croak, his voice barely more than a whisper. His mother's gaze snapped to him, and for a moment, it felt as if the world held its breath. "Morgan!" she cried, rushing to his side, her voice filled with a mixture of relief and disbelief. "You're awake! Oh my God, you're awake!" The sound of her voice washed over him, filling the room with warmth. His father leaned closer, still processing the miracle unfolding before him. "We thought we'd lost you," he said, his voice trembling with emotion. "The doctors said there was no hope." Morgan's heart swelled with emotion as he absorbed their words. He had been on the brink of death, yet here he was, alive. He felt the warmth of their hands on his, their love wrapping around him like a protective shield. Just then, a group of doctors entered the room, their faces a mix of confusion and curiosity. They had been closely monitoring Morgan's condition, and what they witnessed was nothing short of miraculous. The lead doctor, a tall man with glasses perched on his nose, looked down at the charts, his brow furrowed in disbelief. "This is remarkable," he murmured, glancing between Morgan and his family. "Your recovery is unprecedented. We can't explain how you survived." A smile tugged at Morgan's lips as he recalled the gentle words spoken by Jesus during his journey. This wasn't just a miracle, it was a second chance, a gift to fulfill the mission he had been given. "I saw things," he managed to say, his voice growing steadier. The doctors exchanged skeptical glances, but the hope in his family's eyes burned brightly. "Tell us, Morgan," his mother urged, leaning closer, her eyes shimmering with anticipation. "What did you see?" Taking a deep breath, he summoned the memories from his journey. "I met Jesus," he began, the words flowing out, as if the very essence of his experience wanted to be shared. "He showed me the importance of love and forgiveness. He told me that we're all connected, and our choices shape our future." As he spoke, the atmosphere in the room shifted. The doctors stood still, their expressions a mix of fascination and skepticism, while his family listened with rapt attention. Morgan detailed the visions of both despair and hope he had witnessed. The environmental collapse, wars, and suffering, juxtaposed against a world filled with love and unity. His siblings exchanged glances, the weight of his words sinking in. "What can we do?" his sister asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "How can we help?" Morgan's heart swelled with purpose. "We must spread the message," he urged, the conviction in his voice growing stronger. "We need to encourage people to choose love and forgiveness over hate and division. It's not too late for humanity, but we have to act now." His family nodded, determination igniting in their eyes. Morgan could see they were ready to join him on this mission, prepared to be a part of the change he envisioned. "Together, we can make a difference," he continued, feeling the energy of their love bolstering his resolve. The doctors exchanged looks of disbelief, jotting down notes furiously as Morgan shared his experiences. The lead doctor, intrigued by the profound nature of Morgan's testimony, leaned in. "What do you think we should do with this message? How do we spread it?" Morgan paused, considering the question. "We can start by talking to our community, sharing the stories of what I witnessed, and inspiring others to think differently. Maybe we can create a group focused on promoting love, forgiveness, and understanding. We could host workshops, seminars, or even just discussions in our home. If each of us spreads this message, it can ripple out and reach so many more." As he spoke, he could see the wheels turning in the minds of his family. His brother nodded enthusiastically. "We could use social media too. We could create videos or posts sharing your story. It's a powerful message that needs to be heard." "Yes!" Morgan exclaimed, energized by their enthusiasm. "The more platforms we use, the wider our reach can be. Imagine people from all over connecting and sharing their stories, fostering understanding and compassion." The atmosphere in the room grew charged with hope and purpose. The doctors, intrigued, began to ask questions about Morgan's experience, wanting to understand the depths of his journey. Morgan spoke about the visions he had seen, the suffering and destruction that could occur if humanity continued down its current path. He painted a vivid picture of the alternate future he had glimpsed, one filled with kindness, collaboration, and joy. "We can change that future," he asserted passionately. "It's not too late. People need to know that their actions matter. They need to know that love can overcome hate, and that together we can build a better world." Morgan's family listened intently, each of them feeling the weight of his words. They could see the passion in his eyes, the determination in his voice. They were witnessing not just a miraculous recovery, but the birth of a mission, one that could transform not only Morgan's life, but also the lives of countless others. As the doctors continued to take notes, Morgan felt a rush of gratitude. This second chance was not just about his life, it was about the lives he could touch, the souls he could uplift with the truth he had learned in the afterlife. The thought invigorated him, filling him with a sense of purpose he had never felt before. In that moment, surrounded by the love of his family and the awe of the medical staff, Morgan understood the true essence of his awakening. It wasn't just a return to life. It was an awakening of his spirit, a calling to be a beacon of hope and love in a world that desperately needed it. He may have returned to the physical realm, but the lessons he had learned in heaven would guide him forward. With every beat of his heart, He felt the urgency of his mission growing stronger. Morgan was alive, and this time he was determined to make every moment count. As his family leaned in closer, eager to hear more, Morgan realized that this was just the beginning. He had been given a second chance, a new beginning, and he would not waste it. He was ready to step into this new chapter of his life with an open heart, prepared to share the message of love and hope he had been entrusted with. With renewed strength and an unyielding spirit, Morgan began to map out his plan. They would start small, with family gatherings and community meetings, but he could feel the ripple effect already taking shape in his mind. The vision of a united, compassionate world was not just a dream. It was a possibility, one they could create together. As he looked into the eyes of his family, he saw their love reflected back at him. He knew they would stand by him, helping to share the message of hope and unity. They would be a force for good, dedicated to spreading kindness in every corner of their lives. Morgan's journey had led him to this moment, a turning point not only for himself but for everyone he would inspire. The beeping of the machines faded into the background as he began to envision the future he wanted to create, a future filled with love, compassion, and a deep understanding of the interconnectedness of all souls. In that hospital room, a miracle had taken place. Morgan was not just alive. He was awakened to the truth of his existence and ready to embrace the beautiful, complex journey ahead. As Morgan continued to recover, each day brought renewed strength and a clearer purpose. The hospital room that had once felt like a prison transformed into a sanctuary, filled with the love and support of his family. His body healed, but the most significant changes were happening within him. He felt a profound calling to share the powerful message that Jesus had entrusted him with during his near-death experience. It started simply enough. At family gatherings and small community events, Morgan began to speak about love, forgiveness, and the interconnectedness of all souls. His voice, once weak and uncertain, now resonated with conviction. Each word was infused with passion as he recounted the miraculous journey he had experienced, emphasizing how essential it was for humanity to embrace love and compassion in their lives. Every act of kindness creates ripples that touch lives in ways we may never see, he would say, his eyes shining with the truth he had discovered. We are all connected, and our choices shape our future. If we choose love over hate, we can transform the world. As he spoke, his audience began to grow. Initially, it was just his family and a handful of friends, but word spread quickly throughout the town. People from all walks of life began gathering to hear him, intrigued by the man who had come back from the brink of death. His story resonated deeply with many, offering hope in a world that often felt chaotic and divided. Soon, Morgan became a spiritual leader in his community, organizing gatherings where he would share his insights and encourage others to open their hearts to love and forgiveness. The atmosphere was electric. People would come away inspired, their spirits lifted by the profound truth he shared. But with every rise in popularity, there were also struggles. Not everyone embraced Morgan's message. He encountered skepticism and doubt from those hesitant to believe in the supernatural elements of his experience. Some labeled him a fraud, claiming he was merely seeking attention or exploiting people's vulnerabilities. They questioned how he could know the future or claim to have had a divine encounter. The doubts were challenging, often leaving Morgan feeling disheartened. He would read harsh comments online or hear whispers of disbelief at community gatherings. "How can you trust someone who claims to have met Jesus?" they would ask. "He's just a man who had a near-death experience." Yet, despite the negativity, Morgan remained steadfast. Deep within him, he carried the assurance that his purpose was greater than the opinions of a few. He would remind himself of the warmth he had felt in Jesus' presence, the love and acceptance that had enveloped him. "I know what I experienced," he would tell himself, drawing strength from the knowledge that he was on a path to help others understand the true reality of the future. In moments of doubt, he would turn to prayer, seeking guidance and clarity. He found comfort in the belief that not everyone would be receptive to his message right away. "Some will come around in time," he assured himself. "The seeds I'm planting may take a while to grow." As the years passed, Morgan's mission expanded beyond his small town. Social media became a powerful tool for him, allowing his message to reach people across the globe. He began sharing videos of his talks, each one filled with love, hope, and encouragement. Comments flooded in from individuals touched by his story, sharing how his words inspired them to change their lives. Morgan would often reflect on these moments, grateful for the opportunity to connect with so many souls. He was amazed to see how the world could come together in unity when driven by a shared message of love. "It's like a movement," he would tell his family, excitement bubbling in his voice. "People are waking up to the truth. They're realizing we're all in this together." But with this, success came more scrutiny. Skeptics continued to challenge his beliefs, and there were even moments when he faced outright hostility. A few people organized events to discredit him, hoping to sway public opinion against him. Morgan found himself at the center of debates, but he always chose to respond with grace and compassion. "I understand where you're coming from," he would say calmly, addressing the skeptics directly. "It's hard to believe in something you can't see or fully understand. But I urge you to open your heart and consider the possibility that there is more to life than what we perceive." He remained committed to sharing his truth, using every opportunity to engage in conversations about love and unity, often citing the profound teachings he had learned during his near-death experience. In quiet moments, Morgan would reflect on the profound impact of his journey. He often found himself in deep contemplation, appreciating the peace that enveloped him. He knew that he was fulfilling the mission that Jesus had given him, spreading a message that was more important now than ever before. He thought about the thousands of lives he had touched, the hearts he had opened, and the hope he had inspired. Each story of transformation he heard from others fueled his determination. He realized that even in the face of doubt, he was creating change, one heart at a time. As the sun set on another day filled with speaking engagements, community meetings, and personal reflections, Morgan felt a profound sense of gratitude wash over him. He understood that he was a vessel for a greater message, a reminder that love is the answer, that forgiveness is powerful, and that humanity's interconnectedness is a fundamental truth. In the years following his near-death experience, he continued to share the message of love and unity. He organized retreats where individuals could come together to meditate, reflect, and share their own journeys. He encouraged discussions on compassion and understanding, emphasizing that every action mattered in creating a brighter future. Morgan's life had become a tapestry woven with the stories of those he had inspired. He was no longer just a man who had survived a tragedy. He was a beacon of hope, guiding others toward a deeper understanding of life, love, and the importance of preparing for the life beyond. And as he moved forward, embracing the challenges and triumphs, Morgan remained steadfast in his mission, knowing that he was not alone. With every step he took, he felt the presence of Jesus beside him, whispering words of encouragement and love. He was ready to continue this journey, devoted to spreading a message that would resonate through the ages, one of love, unity, and the extraordinary power of the human spirit. As Morgan stood before the crowd, a wave of emotions swept through him. The journey he had embarked on, the near-death experience, the messages of love and hope, and the transformation he had undergone, had led him to this pivotal moment. He scanned the sea of faces in front of him, each one filled with curiosity and a deep longing for something more. Taking a deep breath, he began to speak, his voice steady and resonant. "Thank you all for being here today. I want to share a message that I believe can change your lives, and in turn, the world we all share." His gaze shifted around the room, connecting with each person in a meaningful way. "The future is not set in stone," he continued, his words filled with conviction. "It's in our hands. Each of us holds the power to shape our destinies, not just for ourselves, but for everyone around us." He paused, letting the weight of his words resonate. The audience listened intently, hanging on to his every syllable. "Choose love," he urged, his voice rising with passion. "In every decision you make, choose love. When faced with anger, fear, or hatred, counter it with love. Love is the most powerful force we have. It knows no boundaries. It transcends borders, races, and beliefs. It unites us in ways that nothing else can." Morgan glanced around the room, feeling a swell of hope as he saw nods of understanding and agreement. "And choose forgiveness," he added, his tone shifting to a softer, but equally strong emphasis. "Forgiveness isn't just about letting others off the hook. It's about freeing ourselves from the burdens we carry. Holding on to grudges weighs us down. When we forgive, we release that weight and make room for healing and growth." The atmosphere buzzed with emotion as Morgan continued. "We can change the world, one small act of kindness at a time. Every gesture matters. Whether it's helping a neighbor, lending an ear to a friend, or standing up for someone in need, the ripples of our actions extend far beyond what we can see. Remember, we are all connected. Your kindness today could inspire someone else to act, creating a chain reaction that brings about meaningful change. He took a moment to reflect on his own journey, recalling how he had moved from despair to understanding. "But we must act now," he urged, a sense of urgency creeping into his voice. "Time is running out to make the right choices. Each day we wake up is a gift, an opportunity to make a difference. We can't afford to waste it. We must rise above our fears and doubts, for they only serve to divide us." Morgan's words struck a chord with the audience, igniting a spark of inspiration within each listener. "Every one of you has a purpose," he said earnestly. "Your life is meaningful. You have the potential to impact the world in ways you may never fully understand. So I ask you, what will you choose? Will you choose to spread love and compassion? Will you choose to be a beacon of hope in a world that often feels dark?" He emphasized the importance of this collective journey. Together, we can create a future filled with hope, understanding, and unity. But it starts with each of us making conscious choices every day. Embrace your power to influence those around you. Be the change you wish to see in the world. As he concluded, a profound silence enveloped the room. The audience was visibly moved, reflecting on the weight of his message. Morgan smiled gently, feeling the warmth radiating from those gathered before him. In that moment, he knew his mission was far from over. He felt an unwavering commitment to continue sharing this vital message, to reach even more hearts and minds. The journey of love, forgiveness, and unity was a lifelong endeavor, and he was ready to embrace it fully. "Let us embark on this journey together," he said, hope sparkling in his eyes. "Let's hold each other accountable and inspire one another. Let's weave a tapestry of love that extends beyond our lifetimes, one that connects us all in this beautiful dance of existence." With those final words, Morgan stepped off the stage, knowing that his message would continue to resonate within the hearts of those who had heard it. He had become a vessel for change, a champion of love, and a guiding light for those seeking a deeper understanding of life and its profound interconnectedness. As we conclude Morgan's incredible journey, remember that the choices we make today shape the future for ourselves and those around us. His story is a powerful reminder that love, forgiveness, and unity are not just ideals. They are essential to our collective journey. Thank you for joining us today. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to like this video and share it with others who need to hear this message. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can stay updated on our latest content. We have more inspiring stories coming your way that will challenge your beliefs and ignite your spirit. Until next time, keep your hearts open, embrace love, and remember, the future is in our hands. Let's make it a beautiful one together.